Hello everyone. Today we will learn about social roles and the tourist. A role is a formal sociological term for the position that a person occupied in society. There are several characteristics of tourist social roles. Social roles of tourists may change over time. Tourist roles could be explorers, adventurers, drifter, and lastly mass and charter tourists. Generally, tourists carry roles of photographer, shopper, and visitor to famous places, someone who stays briefly at one place, and someone who may not understand the culture of the visited places completely. Stereotyping of tourists. Way of thinking or human perception on certain things and behavior. Stereotype could be either positive or negative. 15% or more of the sampled viewing group had to agree with the characteristic before the label could be considered to stereotype. During 1969, tourists tend to be seen as indulgent and exploitative, lacking civility, and having restricted appreciation of culture and faces. Creed, 1989. This is some of the negative stereotype characters of tourists. Other than that, tourists are also deemed as overweight, badly dressed, and less than attractive. Age can also be used to justify tourist roles. Age is both an observable and a universal demographic descriptor. It is frequently a substitute or proxy variable for physical fitness, activity levels, interests, and previous travel experience. The most common approach to measured age is by simply measured the years. Children is classified as 12 years old and below, usually follow the decision of their parents and guardians where they didn't or have minimum participation in decision-making process. Meanwhile, teenagers have limited tourism experience, mostly come from school study tours. Teenagers tend to enjoy tourism experience through education when traveling for work or new work experience as well as backpackers. Baby boomers are people who were born between 1945 until 1966. Baby boomers are those that have the richest array of travel experiences, highest expectations, and highest disposable income. This also plays a major role as an outsider. There are two types of outsider, which is outsider is a stranger who stays in a community and who is able to offer unique insights in that location and its culture. Next, his outsider could also be a stranger who moves on as another distinctive role that is distinguished by its own behavioral attributes. As an example, outsider could offer any insight or ideas on how to improve the place, but outsider could ignore it without any attempt to help the community, as it is not their responsibility to do so. Fifth, nationality. Nationality is widely used demographic descriptor in tourism studies. Nationality is an observable characteristic with physical appearance, clothing styles, and tour party characteristics. The nationality of tourists will influence their interaction, food and beverages styles, and the expression of relationship. As an example, tourists from China is always been seen as some who is rough to high-pitched voice when interacting with others. 6. Gender. Gender is another ubiquitous demographic descriptor in tourism study. Gender is an immediately observable and relatively unambiguous characteristic. There are different roles of tourists based on their gender. As an example, females tend to have more leisure and relaxed activity while male enjoy the drive and adrenaline rush from adventurous activity. Lastly, threshold and liminality. Liminality is a concept that has been employed with increasing frequency to understand the role of tourists. There are three zones or states of interest. The first phase is normal phase, which referred to as profound state of being, such as the individual's life and experience at home. Next is liminal phase, where tourist is in state of transition and life is abnormal, not comprehensive, and often puzzling. Lastly is post-liminal phase, which is described as return to the ordinary, everyday, or profane state. Normal phase is a phase before you travel, which is your daily life. Liminoid phase is a phase that you feel excited, confusing, and not comprehensible when you enjoy your traveling activities. Meanwhile, post-liminal phase is phase where you need to come back to the reality and your daily life after. That's all for today. Thank you.